youths came out to protest, and they have been arrested, they have been detained. And I think still now, they are not released. And some of them, people say they don't even know where they are detained. So ESA, APP, Sobea, GDC, NUP, PAP, these are some of the things that they want to discuss with the media and other pressing issues.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kamara, the Director of Communications for APP Sobea. I am going to read out a statement, not of ESA Maifal, not of APP Sobea, but a joint statement of 4 political parties here present. They include APP Sobea, Gambia Democratic Congress, GDC, National Unity Party, NUP, and People's Alliance Party, PAP. Their representatives are here present, sitting on the high table. There is no hierarchy here. We are all equal political parties sitting on a platform to discuss an issue of national concern. Allow me also to recognize the presence of others. I recognize the presence of Usman Jallo, who's leading a movement that could be registered as a political party. There is also the coalition of concerned Gambians, I believe, that is also interested in what is happening here today. So I would, first of all, read out the statement that I was authorized by the representatives of the said parties to read out in their names and on their behalf. Once that is concluded, we will take a few questions. Your questions can be directed to any one of us for as long as it concerns the party that they represent. If it concerns today's activity, that is our concern about the arrest of Gambians who were protesting, the issue of the disposal of Jammeh's assets, then those questions could be directed to me and I will answer on their behalf. If I feel that any one of them could also come in and answer, I would yield the floor to that person to answer. We also have to be mindful of the fact that today is a Friday and we have to observe the Juma prayers. So we should bear that in mind for the purposes of time. And with that introduction, allow me to read out this statement. We, the undersigned leadership of the below-mentioned opposition political parties in the Gambia, we stand united in solemn solidarity with the courageous youths of our nation. Our collective voice, representing the diverse political landscape of our country, is raised in unison to condemn in the strongest terms the unwarranted arrest of peaceful protesters and to demand their immediate and unconditional release. We further urge the government of the Gambia to uphold the fundamental democratic principles enshrined in our Constitution and to respect the inalienable rights of our people. The recent revelations regarding the disposal of assets belonging to the former president, as highlighted in the Republic's news article, have shaken the nation's conscience. These assets, integral to the nation's wealth, were disposed of without public knowledge or consent, raising urgent questions about government transparency and accountability. The public's demand for the release of the government paper detailing the nature, sale, and beneficiaries of these assets is a rightful assertion of sovereignty over governance. The youth, in their patriotic fervor, attempted to exercise the constitutional right to peaceful assembly by applying for a police permit to protest lawfully. The government's denial of this permit and the arrest of these young citizens represent a significant affront to our democratic ideals. Section 25(1)(d) of the 1997 Constitution of the Gambia guarantees every citizen the right to freedom of assembly and association, a fundamental pillar of our democracy. As the opposition, we are the custodians of the aspirations of Gambians who yearn for a just and transparent society. The youths who protested are not agitators, but embodiments of hope for a Gambia that respects the will of the people. Their detention is unjust, or it's an injustice, and we will not stand idly by while their rights are violated. And we demand the following: immediate release of all arrested youths whose only offense was demanding accountability. To respect the constitutional rights, including the right to peaceful protest and freedom of expression. Transparency regarding the assets of the former president, with detailed reports on their sale and buyers. Meaningful dialogue between the government and stakeholders, including youth and civil society, to address public grievances. The path of repression leads to division and unrest. The Gambia we envision is one where every voice is heard and valued. The detained youths are patriots, reminding us of our democratic obligations. Their freedom is non-negotiable. Continuing down this path risks not only international condemnation and isolation, but also the erosion of our democratic fabric and the loss of trust in our government. To the people of the Gambia, we pledge our unwavering commitment to our struggle for justice and transparency. We urge the international community to support our democratic aspirations. The opposition will tirelessly advocate for the rights of every Gambian and demand accountability from those in power, fostering a Gambia that reflects the dreams of its people and upholds the principles of justice and transparency. That is the statement I was authorized to read, and the document was signed by the representatives of all the parties. Before I yield the floor, I just also want to recognize the presence of security officers. I see that they are busy writing notes. We would provide the full copy of our statement signed by all the parties. We are here doing what the laws of this country have allowed us to do, and we do it fearlessly. Whether security officers are present or not, we would always abide by the law, but we also recognize the fact that as Gambians in this country, we have a right to do what the law has mandated us to do, and we cannot be intimidated, we cannot be scared. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Official introduction, high table, who is who?
Before you start. Yeah, you start. Happy Bukege, the Secretary all People's Party, and so where.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sayyidina Abubakar Jaju. I am the spokesperson of National Unity Party, NUP.
Good morning to everyone. I am Ibrahim Anyang, the Admin Secretary 1 of the Gambia Democratic Congress, GDC.
Assalamualaikum, ñu ngi nuyu ñëpp di leen ziar man la Moustapha Sall nekk national président bu People's Alliance Party maa ngi sant ñëpp di gërëm ñëpp di ñaan yàlla ñaan ci yéen.
My name is Dr. Keba Dape, National Administrative Secretary, APP Surveyor.
Perhaps I need to say that it's a handful of parties who are present here. We have made an effort to reach out to other parties. We have not been so fortunate to reach everybody. Our wish would have been that this is a united front of all political parties. Unfortunately, because of the short timeline within which we had to organize this, it was not possible for everyone to be reached and their consent sought to get them to participate. And for all those who think that rightfully we should have consulted them and bring them on board, we sincerely apologize. But we could not pass off this opportunity to really make this statement. So I hope they would understand it in that way. But I do believe that this is a matter of national concern and that the concerns we have are also the concerns that other political parties have. And indeed, the concern of all peace-loving and law-abiding Gambians, and especially those who want to see the Gambia with a very clean human rights record. Thank you.
Name, media house, question you direct to either ESA or anybody on the high table. We will take few.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mama Vandel from the Party Network. First, I would like to commend the opposition parties for showing solidarity with the youths that are affected for simply amplifying their voices. My question is, we are in 2025 and we are still using laws that are older than maybe this generation that is existing. The law that is being used to hinder permit for these young people to exercise their constitutional right is the 1961 Act. It was last amended, if I can remember, in 2009. What will be the opposition-led government stand to ensure that these laws are amended to meet modern standards when you are elected to office? And would you consider forming a coalition to fight against what you believe is injustice? Because we've seen that many instances when protesters seek permission and they are not given permit. And the law says that you only need a permit when you are going to use loudspeakers. I don't believe that the youths violated any law as far as the act is concerned. What will be your stand on that?
Is it directed to me?
Yeah, anyone can answer the question.
Okay, thank you. I will take a stab at it. I will not go into the legal semantics because it involves a lot of legal gymnastics. There is the law for peaceful assembly. There is the law for use of microphones or loudspeakers or microphones in processions. These are completely different provisions and often misunderstood. But the important thing is that these are laws that we have inherited from our colonial masters through the Vagrancy Act that you would have in Eastern Africa and so forth. In West Africa through the Public Order Act, which were only intended to muffle our forefathers, keep them silent and quiet, and to ensure that they have a quick way to keep us behind bars whenever they felt that we have taken steps really to speak up about matters of concern to us. This is a colonial legacy. Interestingly enough, last week I gave a lecture at the university, the law school week, the law week at the university. And this is precisely the subject I talked about. I don't know whether it's just deja vu or whatever, but the university thought that I should talk about the evolution of the criminal law in this country and the post-TRRC aspects of things. And this was a matter that was central in the TRRC. We all remember Femi Peters in 2010, when he was arrested, prosecuted, and sentenced for organizing a political event without a permit. We remember April 10th and 11th, when our brothers and sisters were gunned down in the streets. We remember when Solo Sandeng was arrested precisely for this same event that has occurred yesterday, for protesting against law reform, and he was quickly bundled together with others and taken to NIA and other places. We discovered his body somewhere in Tanye, and a lot of the others were so severely tortured. A few have died since. This is not too long ago. This was 2014. Just 10 years ago. It's as if we have not learned from history. The president of our country was a member of that same political party. He came to power mainly as a result of the Jammeh application of the Public Order Act on Gambian civilians. After Solo Sandeng, Ba Ousainou Darboe and others and members of the UDP went out to protest, and they were equally arrested under that same terrible colonial law and sentenced to prison. If our president is sincere in his belief that Ba Ousainou and others were doing what is right for this country, if he is sincere that they were doing what is a heroic act, it is a shame that what happened yesterday has happened. We should learn from the past. We are not calling for trouble in this country. We are calling for peace. We are asking the president of this country to exercise his authority under the Constitution to ensure that this country is in peace by ensuring that the executive and the police, they take measured actions that would calm the tension in the country, measured action that would bring about reflection of the people, for the people to realize that this is a country of laws, that we can only progress if we respect each other's rights, if we try to foster peace. And that is what we call for. We hope that the events of these days would inspire sober reflection from everybody, from the president downwards to all of us, such that we would do what is right for this country. We are a small country. All of us are connected together one way or the other. We should treat each other right. We should treat each other properly. There is no benefit to keeping those young people in jail for doing what they did. If we call Ba Ousainou and others heroes of this country for defying dictatorship to come out and protest, we should equally hold these young people by the same standard for their heroism to go out and protest what they believe is wrong. What is good for the goose is also good for the gander.
Next
Thank you very
question.
much.
Name, Media House.
No, my last question wasn't answered, which I said, would you call for a coalition to ensure that what you are advocating is achieved come 2026?
Well, I think what you see here shows the spirit of all the parties sitting here to come together to advocate and stand for the problems of this country. So it shows that we are willing to, when necessary, come together. And you see that we were able to read out a joint statement signed by everyone, showing clearly that we can come together and discuss issues and collectively agree on what we think is the best course of action. So I commend all parties that have participated in this, but I also do say that it's just unfortunate that we could not reach other parties, but I am sure that if we did, they would have been willing to participate in this exercise. We can always put aside our differences and focus on the things that really bind us together. So it is possible to answer your question. Thank you.
Name, Media House.
Sorry.
Kemwe.
Yes, Kiwo Kanyi, the voice of the speaker. Mr. Farr, my question is that the National Assembly wields the power to, repeal these bad laws that are in the Constitution and are still used against the students. As an opposition leader, what would you urge or advise them in trying to make it so that they put so much effort to repeal these laws for the benefit of all citizens?
I honestly think that it is important that these laws are repealed. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think the TRRC recommended the repeal of these repressive laws. But that said, the most important thing now, today, is not repealing that law. The most important thing now is the actions of our president as the chief executive in this country and the commander-in-chief of our armed forces. He should show presidential leadership by taking the steps that would calm down the tension in this country. It is his responsibility to bring about the peace in this country. If he acts in a very high-handed manner, it could brew unnecessary, unwarranted heightening of the situation. But if he acts, as I hope he will, if he acts in a measured manner, if he acts humanely, if he tempers the law as they understand it, with the mercy that the situation deserves, if he looks at this as the future of Gambians speaking on behalf of others, then I do think that the situation would change. I sit here not to cause trouble. No, I sit here to implore him to show that the buck stops with him, to show that Gambia has the kind of leadership that everyone should be proud of. A leadership that, in spite of the blue letter law, is concerned about the welfare of the people, is concerned about the peace of the country, and is ready always to show leadership and take steps that would strengthen our unity and foster peace in this country. And that's what I'm asking for. As I speak now, I understand that there are some youths around Westfield gathered demanding their rights. With these things, if they are not handled properly, if they are not handled with good leadership, they can escalate. I pray to God that that will not happen in this country. We did the TRRC, and we said never again shall these things happen in this country? Do we wish that never again to be a statement that we do not believe in? Do we, it's like history is repeating itself. 2014 is repeating itself. We have to be mindful of what 2014 gave us. It gave us the untimely death of Solo Sandeng. It gave us the unlawful arrest of Ba Usainu Dabo and others. It brought us an almost, I don't want to use that word because it could be deliberately misinterpreted to say that Esafal is trying to steer discontent and all that. I know the sedition laws, so I would not use that word. But I want to say that it caused Gambians to come together and say, enough is enough. We are going to get rid of this dictatorial government. Don't underestimate Gambians. 2016 we did. 2026 is round the corner. Don't test us.
Next, yes.
Yes, my name is Travis and I'm from SSMedia.
From?
SSMedia. I wanted to ask about concern of two students that are involved and they are arrested. Currently, they are sitting there was they are grade 12 students. And then one of them is actually a head boy of Musa Senior Secondary School, and he's a student leader among, in Gambia, the school unions, they have what they call student unions. He's among the leaders in that. What do you think? What do you think is the future of those people? Hence, they are arrested right now. No one knows what they are doing, and then Monday they have a paper to shame.
But
it also lead to 2002 demonstration by the students.
You see, this is why I'm saying that this is history repeating itself in Gambia. And that is why our leadership must be careful. This is why our president must take measured, deliberate, and well thought out steps. He should think about the future of these people who have been arrested. He should think about the future of this country. Gambians fought to have a country of laws. Gambians fought to ensure that we have a country in which the rights of people are fully respected. Gambians fought to ensure that never again should we go back to the dark days where these repressive laws are used against people. And in the dawn of 2016 or the dawn of 2017, we thought that these things will not happen again. But look at things as they unfolded. We are using the same old playbook. That old playbook that gave us Solo Sandeng, that old playbook that gave us the incarceration of the top UDP leadership. In my own assessment, I feel ashamed that this is happening again in our country. As lead counsel, former lead counsel of the TRRC, I am heavily invested in this because I put my life on the table to do the work of the TRRC, to lead that investigations and produce that evidence that would establish the truth about the terrible things that happen in this country. If those things are to be happening again, I think it behoves all of us to come out and express our concern and condemn what is happening. I feel sorry for the youths that you're talking about. It is important. Yes, the students you're talking about. It is important that they're allowed to go and sit their exams. But you know what happens in Gambia is they arrest you on Thursday, and because the law gives them 72 hours, unfortunately, and they keep you through Friday. And they say, well, at the expiry of the 72 hours, it's weekend, so you got to spend the night because there's no judge or magistrate to give you bail. I am saying, as a lawyer, I am saying that that is wrong application of the law. The law does not say that your detention should be extended if there is no magistrate or judge to give you bail at the expiry of the 72 hours. But these are tricks that are used by many police regimes in order to break down the suspects under detention. These are terrible things that used to happen in Gambia. This is not what we bargained for in 2016, and these things must stop. I give my colleagues the opportunity to add to what I have just said, but I do want to believe that this should not happen in the new Gambia. We condemn it in the strongest terms, and I do hope that our president is listening. We are reminding him that the company that he kept in 2014, 2015, and 2016 went through hell under the same arrangements that these youth are going through now. Let him reflect. But if he is not willing to learn from those lessons, well, we leave it at that. The Gambian youth are not ready to relent. Gambians are not willing to sit idly by to take us back to those dark days. So I think prudence and smart leadership demands a different course of action. Thank you.
If your question is directed, yes.
The message is directed to all of you. If, like, one mechanism are you guys using if these protesters are in place?
For me, I will not call, and mark my words, do not twist it. I will not call for any unlawful or unpeaceful action, but we would use all powers within the law to ensure that we fight for the rights of everyone who's been arrested in the protest of the other day. I am a lawyer. The way I know to do things is to fight it within the framework of the law. From this meeting, I would try to put together a team of lawyers who would fight for these people. That's the way I know to fight this. But don't think that I will not be among those who would come out if it is necessary. I will always come out and defend the rights of people. But I will not advocate for a violation of the law. You see, it is in these moments that the executive listen keenly to everything that you say. They have lawyers holding the Public Order Act, waiting for you to make mistakes. You use the wrong word, grab him. He's committed this offense. You are bundled, your bones are broken before you realize you are almost half dead. It has happened in many countries. I am not saying that that is what is happening in Gambia. No, I did not. All I am saying is these are tactics that they have used around the world. I fear that those same tactics could be used in this country, and that is why I am prepared for them. And that is why I am paying keen attention to the Public Order Act. And remember, there's a new law, the cybercrime law, that has just come into place. That too is another tool that could be used against people. So for all of us seated here, we have to be careful. Not that we are afraid. No, I am never afraid to tell truth to power. But also I have to protect myself. I cannot be reckless because I'm a lawyer. I cannot say I did not know this. You know, and the easiest way to take away their weapon is by making it exceptionally difficult for them to get you under the law. And that is what I'm doing now. Thank you very much.
2 questions before we end the press conference, unless any party executive wants to say something. 2 questions directed to Esa, that will end the press conference. 2 questions. Yes, you came in. You want to ask something?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Paul. Sorry, I just came here. As a US politician, we have been seeing in other countries that majority they used to lead protests. So we all know that what is going on in the country is not fair, especially in this looting of government properties. So are you thinking of in the future to lead a protest as a serious politician?
Let's dissect what you have said. Your question presupposes that if I do not lead a protest, I am not a serious politician.
No, I didn't say. I said, as a serious politician, are you going to lead a protest in the future?
Okay.
Because we used to see in other countries. Recently in Ghana, just last week in Ghana, when the Chief Justice was fired, the opposition they came out to protest against the government decision to sack the Chief Justice. And they don't even acquire for this thing, ask for any permit.
That's right.
So it's only in the Gambia that they always ask for permit, which is not right.
But the thing is, I think that I have answered the question you have asked with my last statement. I did say that I would always do everything possible within the framework of the law to help to vindicate the rights of people, including organizing a team of lawyers to represent people. I said also, but that is not to mean that I will never come out. In fact, I am out doing exactly what you're talking about. I don't necessarily have to hold a placard outside in the streets.
What in your last statement, you just said that I'm not going to advocate for the violation of the law. What do you mean by that statement?
But do you know that it is a crime to advocate for the violation of the law?
No, but for people to come out peaceful protest,
my friend, my friend, I am the lawyer here. I am not sure that you are one. I am saying that I will not advocate for a violation of the law. If you want to advocate for the violation of the law, I don't want that association. I want to be president of this country someday. Do you think that it makes sense that I advocate for violation of the law? It does not. And I am not that person. I am never scared or afraid. Never. It's not in my DNA to be scared or afraid. But it is important for every individual to do what is right by God and for the people that you represent. And that is what I do. I do not think that what these guys did ought to be a crime in this country. I am looking at it from the point of view of the Constitution. The Constitution gave us an unbridled right for peaceful assembly. And that is what I believe they were doing. But I also recognize that there is a Public Order Act which unfairly criminalizes this conduct. So what I need to do is to fight against this by ensuring greater public awareness, by registering my dissatisfaction or condemnation of what is happening, and taking steps that I can lawfully take in order to secure redress. That is what I will do. I will not violate the law. But that doesn't mean that I will not fight. I will fight within the ambit of the law. I hope that satisfies you.
Last question for Esa before you can ask anybody on the item. Yes, sir, last question.
My name is Alessandro from
From?
Doro Alassane TV.
TV Okay.
Legi, ma bëgg a laajte mooy Gambia fu mu nekk nii saa su ne dañoo am press conference radio station yaa ngi woon TV station yaa ngi woon ba pare ba tey nguur gi si seen boppa ñu ngi wane seen gannaaw Gambian si bu ñu leen ci lu ñëw ci ñaxtu waxuma la léegi comme like lan lañ mën a def loo xamante ni loolu mooy tax nguur gi jox ñu noppa because protest defoon nañ ko fii nii am na loo xamante ni xewoon na mooy 3 years ak leneen te beneen bi ci tudd na ko fii nii mooy ci wàllu politicians comme dëkk yu bëri dara su yow politicians yi ñoo si jiitu soo xoolee ñu ngi ci bàyyi South Africa Ghana bu mu wax Kenya ak Sénégal te Gambia comme like benn laa gis protest happen njiiti politicians yi seen njiit kenn génn si ànd ak youth si waaw comme like lu tax politicians yi duñ dee génn ànd ak youth si ci protest boobu noonu ngir nguur gi tamit xam ne dëgg-dëgg lii lu soxal bi la because comme like su nekkee ne comme press conference la ñoo woon dox
Anybody wants to answer?
Yeah, okay. Okay. Jërëjëf. Jërëjëf.
Do we move the mics?
No.
Yes. Jërëjëf comme noo ko laajtee rek teg naa Essa ansa na ko si biir waxam mooy ne ñun dañ establish as political party in line with the constitution of this country. So mboolem lu ñoo def as responsible political parties dañ war a make sure ne tamit lu moo ñu dooleel pour ñu def loolu ndaxte comme exemple boo joxee rek si yeneen dëkk yi nguur tamit su toogee dafa seet opposition lu moo def te si lum la mun a téye rek mooy nga def lu nga xam ne àndut ak luwaa te yeneen dëkk yi sax opposition dina def lu ànd ak luwaa mu jaay la doole tëj la so toolu nañ fu nga xam ne ñun ñëpp lu ñoo advocate is one lu ñoo advocate mooy for change teg naa ne right now suñu attention yëpp si luñ ko war a direct mooy naka la ñoo tryé ba opposition si despite their differences ñoom ñëpp ñu war a mun a ñëw together ñu am one common candidate bu nga xam ne moom la ñoo face because lu ma lay wax mooy the most guaranteed thing mooy pour ñu ñëpp ñëw together pour génnee fi système bu ñu fi am because we don't have problem with Barrow but we have problem with the system so meaning ne foog ñu génne fa di président pour ñu mun a isi a more responsible system currently what is happening gëm naa ne all opposition parties ñoom laa mun a guarantee they are not happy with the current situation so party leaders yi nag spécially Kandeh bëggoon na fee nekk waaye he is not in town waaye ñun ñëpp li ñu fi isi tamit bugga tamit pour youth si lu nekk naxa dinañu waaye ñun tamit suñ demee ba bugga leen di rescue wala rescue this country nañ leen rescue in line with the law because ñun ñëpp tey we are opposition tomorrow we can be there suñ fa nekkee tamit what we want to advocate mooy ñuy doon opposition ñoom tamit ñu act in line with the law because tey suñ ko violate ëllëg ñoom tamit suñ ko violate we will lack the moral ground pour ñu taxaw pour condemn that act so loolu moom pour sa xel dal we will see how best dañoo gën a re-strategize lu ñu loo may as far as the constitution is concerned loolu amuñ ci ragal te duñ ci dellu gannaaw dinañ ko exercise ben make sure ne tamit we will see how best we will work with the Gambian population in order to rescue this country in 2026 jërëjëf
ma rax si dooli rek ne waxoon naa fi bu yàggut ne na président Barrow delloo si xelam fàttaliku 2010 Femi Peters mu delloo si xelam fàttaliku sax April 10-11 year 2000 li xewoon ci réew mi mu delloo si xelam ba tey fàttaliku 2014 Solo Sandeng ba tey mu delloo si xelam fàttali kim daan ooyee papaam muy Ba Ousseynou Daab ak ñoom seen jaar-jaar foog naa su bàyyee xelam ca loola war naa xam ne comme nim ñaawloo woon events yi ma describe yëpp nam leen ñaawloo woon waxtu woowa na xam ne noonu la ko war a ñaawloo tey te li xew tey ci turam rek lañ koy wax parce que moom mooy di commander in chief soo bon nag nam ko ñaawloo woon ñun noonu lañ ko ñaawloo tey ba tax ñun ku ñu dénkoon réew mi ñaawteef bu mel nii ba tax ñun ñi ñëw génn si ñëw toog fii ñun ñaawteef boobu duñ ko def soo moo tax tam sooy ñaawlu ñaawteef boobu defee ko ci anam boo xam ne dina am njëriñ ku fi oote loo xam ne day taal réew mi ñun ñooy ñàkk ba tax gow ma ne am na any person koo xam ne dinañ war nañ laa ooyee a responsible person pour nga taal réew mi suñ differences mun nañ koo setul te duñ taal réew mi moo tax ñuy wax président bi ne ko tiituñ de ragaluñ li nga war a def def ko réew mi am jàmma boo ko defu tam nit ñi dinañ taxaw temm laajte li leen luwaa may xam nga loolu tam ak taal réew mi dafa ute soo ñun moo tax lu ñoo oote dañ ko oote pour mu jaar ci yoon duñ ko may dërëm nag benn dalasi duñ ko ci may nit ñi seen rights dinañ ko vindicate waaye tam dañ koo defee ci anam boo xam ne na doon anam boo xam ne dina njëriñ réew mi dina njëriñ askan wi dina wone ne ñun we are civilized people dina wone ne Gambia dëkki luwaa la dina tax Gambia am tur bu rafet bitim réew loolu mooy tax nit ñi am confidence pour di ñëw ci suñ dëkka jërëjëf yeneen parti si tam mun nañ cee yokka
No, he said he wants to continue.
dafa fu wax ne président Barrow lu mu ñaawloo woon dafa mel ni tembo noonu président Barrow bokkoon na si ñuy ñaawlu loo xamante ni loolu moo former président bi lu mu doon def léegi nag moom toog na mu defaat di same thing ndax léegi politicien yi si seen bopp yéen ñoo xamante yéen ay politicien leadership yi léegi comme suñ leen joxee dogu bi ñu óolu leen jox leen ko ndax loo leen di wax nii électrique bi soo leen toogee ndax doo leen ko ci
waaye loolu wax nañ ko ñetti yoon ñeneenti yoon my brother, if I had the keys to the jail, I would have opened them. Okay? If I had my wish, no one would sleep in a jail. All right? So we are now telling truth to power by telling the president that this action that has been taken is not the best course of action. It's not a lawful action in view of the constitution of this country. It is also not the kind of action we expect he will take in present-day Gambia in view of the lessons of the past, in view of the TRRC recommendations, which he has signed and accepted, that this conduct is not what we expect of him. We condemn it in the strongest terms, and we ask that these people be released unconditionally and immediately. If that does not happen, we hope to see them in court on Monday. We hope to see them in court on Monday. But equally, we are not responsible for the conduct of other Gambians who are equally disturbed by what has happened. And we leave it at that.
I'm going to say it's not much. Like I said, my name is Sayyidina Abubakar Jaju. My party leader would have been here today. But unfortunately, he's not in the country. He actually traveled. Is it a piece of advice to the government? Our honorable said it here. It's on by file. Yeah. We should not allow history or the facts of history to repeat themselves. The president ought to know better that the youthful population of this country consists of over 60% of the population. Our plight should be his concern. The only issue that compels this youth to take on the streets is to demand for justice, is to demand for accountability, is to demand for transparency. That in itself is a noble gesture. We are asking him to kindly allow these youths to go home in peace. That is exactly what we are advocating for. I will step on Esa Su as to what he said. We would not violate the law, but we will also consult our legal teams and then look at our options on the table. We would not let this slide. We are not afraid of anything, but we also want to do whatever we have to within the confines of the law. What they did is their right to seek for accountability, to request for transparency, because this is a generational wealth that is supposed to benefit generations, even those that are yet on board. So, knowing fully well that there is no time, we are asking for this youth, the president actually, to release these youths unconditionally and kindly not to allow this to repeat itself again. Thank you.
di sant journaliste yi fi teew yëpp di sant Essa ci woote bi di sant political party yi fi teew yëpp Moustapha Sall la toogal fi People's Alliance Party li waral jotaay bi ñëpp xam nañ ko mooy li nga xam ne moo xew recently démb waaye Gambia dafa am loo xam ne dañ ko doon ba tey mu nekk ci xol yi ak xalaat yi ba tey génnagul mooy dictatorship ak léeg-léeg xol bu xat dañ ko doon ca li passé ba léeg-léeg government bu ñuy acte léeg-léeg ñi nga xam ne ñoo yor sécurité bi bu ñu acte léeg-léeg da nga yëg ne wax dëgg yàlla des nañ lu bare bari ndax koo xam ne dafa jóg deful loo xam ne dañ koy tuddee commit crime nga jàpp ko yóbbu tëj lu muy laaj mu ne dama bëgg a xam sama alal nan la demee fan lañ ko dugal xanaa dama yaakaar ne loolu nekkut loo xam ne crime la ci réew mi wala boog dañoo bind ci constitution bi ne képp koo xam ne yaa ngi demande justice ak transparent da nga commit crime fooguma ko te ñun ñëpp lu ñu war mooy ñi jàng ci li passé li muy jëriñ mooy nga jàng ci ëllëg mistake yi passé woon lii ñëw nga fexe moytu ko ñun ñëpp léegi-léegi dañuy dégg yàlla dañuy wax inna fi dalika la ibratan li ulil absar li ngeen di jàng muy passé loolu da ngeen ci war a jëlee xalaat yoo xam ne ñi ci am xalaat mooy ñi nga xam ne am nañ gis-gis di xalaat waaye su fekkee doo xalaat démb la nga defoon démb mën nga ko repeat li xew lu yomb la loo xam ne mënees na koo régler ci lu simple 2017 taxawal nañ lu ñuy tuddee Janneh commission ñu ne dañuy saytu alalu ki fi nekkoon président di Yaya Jammeh 2019 ñu pare seen investigation submit seen final report jox ko nguur gi ñiy déglu ba xam lan lañ ñuy wax ci alal yu nga xam ne ñun ñoo ko moom suñu alal la demuñ ci kër kenn laaj ko sa alal déedéet waaye lu ñuy laaj dañ koo moom suñu àq la coow li jóg ñi am ñoo xam ne ñu bari ñu ngi leen ciy tudd ñu doon ay ministre nag nekk ci biir government bi ñu jóg ne dañoo bëgg loolu leer ngeen wax ñi alal ji lan la fu ngeen ko def ku ngeen ko jaay ñaata ngeen ko jaayee ni ngeen ko def loolu méttiwul loolu jërul jàpp nit di tëj ñu ne déedéet loolu du ngeen ko fi waxe loolu du ngeen ko fi waxee kon loolu daf ñuy fàttali rek ne la passé woon ba tey am na lu fi des te nag réew mi jàmm rek moo fi xaj leneen xaju fi ñun ñëpp li ñu war mooy ñi respecté li nga xam ne mooy loi bu ko kenn jalgati kenn wootiwul fi nañ jalgati loi wala kenn wootu fi loo xam ne day taal réew mi bu amee jàmm ñun la amal jàmm parce que amuñu feneen fii rek lañ am xañ na am na ñoo xam ne am nañ intérêt pour mu tàkk waaye ñu ne amuñu intérêt pour mu tàkk amuñu intérêt pour ñàkk jàmm parce que ñu ngi fàttaliku 2016 am na ñoo xam ne bi réew mi tàkkee amoon nañ possibilité pour dem feneen waaye ñun amuñ ko woon fii lañ toog ak luy métti métti ñu xeex ko kon li fi xew tey ci freedom ak nit ki li nga xalaat nga wax ko ci jàmm ak salaam loolu ñun ñoo koy xeex te nag nit ñi xalaatatuñ lañ doon 22 yaay jàmme xalaatuñ denn foofu ñoom xalaatuñ ko de lañ doon ci jamono yaay jàmme 22 years nga xam ne booy wax sax da ngay xool ba xam ndax ina yi ñu ngi fii wala boog ñi loolu duñ ko dellu loolu duñ ci dellu de waaye nag duñ ko def ci loo xam ne day jalgati loi duñ ko def ci loo xam ne day taal réew mi kon liñ fi bëgg mooy jàmm ak salaam li ñuy demande nag Essa wax na ko mooy li njëkk mooy ndaw ñi nga xam ne jàpp nañ leen te defuñ lu dul nañ ñu wax suñu alal fan la nekk nañ leen release ñu dem seen kër yi without any condition nag beneen ba ci des mooy li nga xam ne mooy àq ak yelleef bi nga xam ne constitution bi moo ñu ko garantir nañ ko respecter nit ñi amul kenn koo xam ne da ngaa nekk ci kaw loi ifin président bi loi moo nekk ci kaw bu jàddee yoon nañ ko war a teg man su ma jàddee yoon ni ñu war a tegee loi ifin président wala keneen ku ko faree kaw bu jàddee yoon noonu lañ ko war a teg yoon waaye réew mi ngay gis koo xam ne bu baadoolo bu jàddee yoon ñu ne nañ ko teg ci yoon nañ ko teg ci loi président bu jàddee yoon ñu ne diire loolu fu mu amee beneen ba ci des mooy li nga xam ne mooy alalu Yaya Jammeh nañ ñi ko leeralal fan la leneen la ci des nga xam ne moom la ñuy bu jëm mooy waxtaan nañ koy farataal gis nga xët-xët ak doole ak jaay man la yàlla jox nguur maa yor doole ji sol fu dara te léegi-léegi nga xool nit xeeb ko nga gis nga ne ñii de ñetti xale lañ juróomi xale lañ fukki xale lañ ñaar nga ne ñii de ma fekk ñooñu nag doole réew mi seen yàlla mu ngi ko teg ci loxo ci seen loxo kon nañu jiital waxtaan di wan ak ñi nga xam ne ñoo yor sécurité nañ xam ne suñ xaalis lañ leen di fayee ñi nga xam ne ñooy fay taxe te taxe boobu la ñuy jël di leen fay salaire kon ñoom waruñoo def loo xam ne daf leen di day tax nit ñi bañ leen te gis nañu fa TRRC jaar na fi nag lu lay xew ne fii lañu fekk te ku nekk nag bépp acte boo xam ne yaa ngi koy def jëlal sa responsabilité danañ wax nguur gi de waaye yow mi def acte boo defee loo xam ne dafa violer di yoon jëlal sa responsabilité te xam ne ëllëg mu ngi ñëw kon li ñuy wax mooy loolu noonu ñun ñëpp nañ ànd xam ne réew mi ñoo ko bokk li ñuy def ñu teg ko ci dëgg nguur gi li muy wax na fexe teg ko ci dëgg ñun ñi nga xam ne ñooy opposition bi ñun tamit ñi dëkku ci li ñuy wax bu ëllëgee buñ ñu joxee li nga xam ne mooy repeat wax bañ jox la nga ñëw def leneen lu bokk rek la nga waxoon askan bi loolu nañ ko moytu kon loolu mooy li nga xam ne am nañ ko comme kàddu di ko jotali di ñaan yàlla jàmm ci réew mi di ñaan yàlla incha allah yàlla fekk li ñu 2026 bañ génne ñi nga xam ne ñoo fi nekk. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
As promised, Essa will give the final statement, closing remarks, then we call it a day. But the gentleman want to ask a question relating the army and the soldiers, and I think that is a very important question. Then when the question is answered by Essa will give the closing remark. Ask your question.
Yeah, I thought that really the case was taboo, but somebody told me that you have not talked about it. It's about the army's response to you, your statement and that of the Catholics and the So is that statement threatening you?
Well, honestly, I don't know. I think the question is for them to answer whether they are threatening me or not. I am not scared. I do not think that I have done anything in this country that would warrant the armed forces to think of me differently. I see them as loyal, serving men and women and officers of this country. I hold them to the highest regard, like I expect that they would hold everybody else to the highest regard. I don't want to enter into that debate. I do not think that anything meaningful has been said. All I just want to say is that all the people concerned should reflect back to the TRRC. It's like that they haven't remembered much about the TRRC. But I'll remind them to go back and listen to the testimonies of the TRRC. In particular, Edward Singate, in particular, the CDS himself, his own testimony at TRRC. and also the testimony of Sana Samani. I did not say what I said because I just wanted to say things. No, I said what I said because those were the right things to say. I said what I said because this is the only country we have, and we have to do everything in the interest of our country. And that was the reason why I said what I said. I will not enter into a debate in the response. And I mean, some institutions, they like to play politics. I wasn't playing politics. I was playing good citizen. So, and that's why I said what I had to say. This is not the first time I'm saying this. I have said it for years. Remember, it has taken 9 years since the beginning of this problem. 9 good years. So I said what I said because it was the right thing to say, and I leave it at that. I mean, I think Gambian people have also spoken. If you go to the internet, you see people have spoken their mind. I wonder there were any people who supported the statement that was issued. But we also understand sometimes people try to appease their political masters, and they say things that they themselves don't believe in. And I am emphasizing that they themselves don't believe in it. If you deny what I say, go and look at TRRC testimonies. I don't want to embarrass anybody, but the army said something different at the TRRC, completely different. So I remind Gambians to go back and look at it.
In 2 minutes.
So just to close, that this is a very serious moment. Tensions are rising in this country. It is the responsibility of the president. He is everybody's president in this country. Those of us sitting here wanting to replace him, wanting to see him removed in 2026. And those in the jails, all of us, he is our president. We expect that he would learn from the lessons of the past. In fact, I recall that during TRRC, I had said something. It went like this. If we do not learn from the ills of the past, we are sowing the seeds of destruction for the future. That is something I said in TRRC, maybe in 2020. The only reason why I remember is that somebody has made it into a meme. So, and I saw it circulated around. That's how I remember. And I think it is a stark warning for everyone that we must remember the things that happened in the past. And we try not to repeat the ills of the past. If we do repeat the ills of the past, we will be sowing the seeds of destruction for the future. We have seen what happened April 10th, 11, 2000. We have seen what happened 2010 pertaining to Femi Peters. We have seen what happened 2014 pertaining to Sole Sandeng. We have seen what happened also to Ba Usainu Dabo. And we have seen the result in 2016. Here, the same will of government, the same modus operandi, the same strategy of stifling and muzzling the opposition or civil rights activists is happening again. In 2026, I promise you, we will have the same result as what happened in 2016. But on this occasion, we don't want to see Gambians running away. Never again in this country should we allow anyone to put this country in a situation where Gambians would have to seek refuge outside this country. We want peace. We want respect for the law. We want respect for the rights of all and sundry. Mr. President, give it to the Gambians. Mr. President, give it to those youths who are languishing in detentions centers or places around the country. No, I don't think there is, well, at least I do not know where all these people are now detained. We understand that they've been separated and detained in several places. It's still the same old book, old playbook. Mr. President, stop it. You gave a commitment to Gambians that you would end all these Jammeh-era shenanigans that resulted in the violation of rights of Gambians. We want to hold you to your promise. If you fail, we ask all Gambians to hold you accountable for this nonsense that is happening. We ask all Gambians to hold you accountable for this terrible situation that is unfolding. But more importantly, we want you to take action that would ensure the peace in this country. I thank you all.